On December 7th, 1971, a terrifying revelation rocked the sleeping New Jersey town of Westfield. The List family mansion, once bustling with life, had fallen eerily silent. Neighbors, unsettled by the constantly illuminated house suddenly going dark, alerted the authorities. Upon entering through an unlocked basement window, police stumbled upon a grisly scene. The bodies of 84-year-old Alma, 46-year-old Helen, 16-year-old Patricia, 15-year-old John Jr., and 13-year-old Frederick List lay there, all shot dead. But one person was conspicuously absent, John List, the family patriarch. As investigators dug deeper, they learned no one had seen List since early November. Little did they know that his disappearance would spark a nationwide manhunt that would stretch for 18 long years. This is the story of the List family, a story of a descent into madness, a desperate flight, and a chilling truth that would only come to light after years of chilling silence. Join Secret Sleuths as we peel back the layers of this horrifying case. Consider subscribing for a deep dive into the dark side of the American dream. Let us go back to the beginning. Born in Bay City, Michigan, John List was the only child of German-American parents. He inherited a strong religious conviction from his father, becoming a devout Lutheran and Sunday school teacher. After graduating from Bay City Central High School in 1943, List enlisted in the U.S. Army, serving as a laboratory technician during World War II. Following his discharge in 1946, List pursued higher education at the University of Michigan, earning a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's in accounting. It was during his time at Fort Eustis, Virginia, that List's personal life took a significant turn. He met Helen Morris Taylor, a widow living nearby with her young daughter Brenda. Helen had lost her husband in the Korean conflict. On December 1st, 1951, John and Helen married in Baltimore, Maryland. Little did anyone know that almost exactly 2 decades later, this seemingly ordinary family man would become the center of one of the most chilling crime scenes in New Jersey history. As List's life progressed, his career in finance began to flourish. The Army, recognizing his accounting skills, transferred him to the Finance Corps. After completing his second tour in 1952, List transitioned to civilian life, starting with an accounting firm in Detroit before moving to a paper company in Kalamazoo as an audit supervisor. It was in Kalamazoo that John and Helen's family grew, with the birth of their 3 children, Patricia, John Frederick, and Frederick. List's career continued its upward trajectory, eventually reaching the position of general supervisor in the company's accounting department. The family dynamic shifted further when Brenda, Helen's daughter from her previous marriage, married and left home in 1960. A big change happened in the List family's life when they moved to Westfield, New Jersey. John's new position allowed them to purchase Breeze Knoll, an imposing 19-room Victorian mansion at 431 Hillside Avenue. This grand residence seemed to embody the American dream, a testament to List's professional success. However, the impressive facade concealed a brewing darkness. On November 9th, 1971, the List family's outwardly perfect life was shattered in a horrific sequence of events that would shock the nation. That fateful day, John List methodically murdered his entire immediate family, using his 9mm semi-automatic handgun and his father's Colt .2 revolver. List embarked on a chilling killing spree. His first victim was Helen, his wife, whom he shot in the back of the head while their children were at school. Next, he turned the gun on his mother, Alma, killing her with a single shot above her left eye. In a display of cold calculation, List then waited for his children, Patricia and Frederick, to return from school before ending their lives, each with a shot to the back of the head. After murdering his wife, mother, and 2 of his children, List took a chilling break for lunch, as if following a mundane daily routine. Following his meal, List drove to his bank, methodically closing both his and his mother's accounts. In a twisted display of normalcy, he then attended his eldest son John Frederick's soccer game at Westfield High School, watching from afar. The final act of this family tragedy played out when List drove John Frederick home. Unlike the swift executions of his other family members, John Frederick's murder showed signs of struggle. Multiple gunshot wounds suggested the teenager had fought for his life. adding another layer of brutality to the already horrific crime. With his entire family now dead, List arranged the bodies of his wife and children in sleeping bags, placing them in the mansion's ballroom, a room that stood as a symbol of the family's wealth and success, now transformed into a makeshift morgue. His mother's body was placed separately in the attic apartment. In a final act before disappearing, List left a 5-page letter addressed to his pastor on his desk. In this missive, he attempted to justify his actions, claiming he saw too much evil in the world and believed killing his family would save their souls. He meticulously cleaned the crime scenes, erasing evidence of the violence that had occurred. Perhaps most telling was List's final act before fleeing. He systematically removed his own image from every family photograph in the house. This symbolic erasure of himself from the family narrative foreshadowed his imminent disappearance. List's careful planning extended beyond the immediate aftermath. In the days leading up to the murders, he had laid the groundwork to delay the discovery of his crimes. He sent notes to his children's schools and part-time employers, explaining their absence with a fabricated story about visiting their sick maternal grandmother in North Carolina. To further delay detection, List meticulously cancelled all mail, newspaper, and milk deliveries to the house. The carefully constructed facade List had built began to crumble as neighbors, accustomed to the family's reclusive nature, grew suspicious of the eerily illuminated, seemingly abandoned house. This unnatural stillness eventually prompted a police investigation, leading to the grim discovery of the List family's fate. The revelation of the murders sparked a nationwide manhunt for John List. Despite following countless leads, law enforcement found themselves at a frustrating impasse. List's meticulous removal of his photos from the family home proved to be a significant hindrance, leaving investigators without a clear image to circulate. A potential break came when the family car was discovered at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City. However, authorities doubted that List had actually boarded a plane, viewing it as another calculated move to mislead them. Up until August 1972, 9 months after the murders, the List family mansion, Breeze Knoll, stood as a silent witness to the tragedy. While officially ruled arson, the case remains unsolved, adding another layer of mystery to the already complex story. The blaze destroyed the mansion's prized ballroom stained glass skylight, rumored to be assigned to the original, erasing yet another piece of the List family's legacy. As the investigation stalled, John List's whereabouts remained a mystery for years. The FBI later uncovered that immediately after the murders in 1971, List had taken a circuitous route from New Jersey to Michigan and then to Colorado, confirming that the car left at JFK Airport was indeed a clever misdirection. In early 1972, List settled in Denver, Colorado, assuming the alias Robert Peter Clark. Under this new identity, Bob began rebuilding his life, securing an accounting job. From 1979 to 1986, he worked at a paper box manufacturer near Denver, seamlessly integrating into his new community. Maintaining his religious facade, Bob joined a Lutheran congregation and even organized a carpool for church members. It was at a Lutheran gathering that he met Dolores Miller, an Army PX clerk. The two married in 1985, further cementing his new identity. In May 1989, during its first season, the television show America's Most Wanted aired a segment on the 18-year-old List family murders. The broadcast featured an age-progressed clay bust of John List, skillfully crafted by forensic artist Frank Bender. Bender's expertise proved crucial. His sculpture bore a striking resemblance to List's current appearance. This national exposure would soon shatter the peaceful existence of the man known to his neighbors as Bob Clark, bringing the long cold case back into the spotlight and setting the stage for a dramatic resolution to one of America's most infamous familicides. On June 1st, 1989, less than 2 weeks after the episode aired, John List was apprehended at a Richmond accounting firm. A former Denver neighbor, recognizing the description, had alerted authorities. Despite his arrest, List clung to his alias of Bob Clark for months, even after his extradition to New Jersey in late 1989. However, the facade finally crumbled when his fingerprints were matched to John List's military records. On February 16, 1990, List finally finally admitted his true identity. During his trial, List revealed the financial turmoil that had preceded the murders. He testified that in 1971, he had been laid off when the Jersey City bank where he worked closed. Overwhelmed by shame, List went to extraordinary lengths to conceal his unemployment from his family. Each day, he would dress for work and leave the house, maintaining the illusion of normalcy. Instead of going to an office, List spent his days attending futile job interviews or idling at the Westfield train station, reading newspapers. The List household's troubles extended beyond financial strain. Helen, List's wife, battled severe alcoholism. Compounding this was a shocking revelation. Helen had been secretly suffering from untreated syphilis, contracted from her first husband for 18 years. By 1969, when Helen's condition was finally diagnosed, the combined effects of alcoholism and syphilis had taken a devastating toll. Witnesses described her transformation from an attractive young woman to a disheveled, paranoid recluse. On April 12, 1990, justice finally caught up with John List. He was convicted on 5 counts of first-degree murder. At his sentencing, List attempted to deflect responsibility, stating, "I feel that because of my mental state at the time, I was unaccountable for what happened. I ask all affected by this for their forgiveness, understanding, and prayer." Despite List's plea, the judge sentenced him to 5 consecutive life terms. In a powerful statement, the judge declared, "John List is without remorse and without honor. After 18 years, 5 months, and 22 days, it is now time for the voices of Helen, Alma, Patricia, Frederick, and John Frederick to rise from the grave." While List later expressed some regret, saying, "I wish I'd never done what I did. I've regretted my action and prayed for forgiveness ever since." His actions remained inexcusable. When asked why he didn't take his own life, List chillingly replied that suicide would have prevented him from reaching heaven. On March 21, 2008, John List, aged 82, died from pneumonia complications while incarcerated at St. Francis Medical Center in Trenton, New Jersey. His death marked the final chapter in a tragic story that had spanned nearly 4 decades. List's case serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of untreated mental illness and the dangers of rigid, distorted thinking. If you've enjoyed diving into this investigation with us, why not join our growing community of Secret Sleuths?